Hey everybody, this is Mrs. Hilt, and I'm going to walk through what to do in the Exploring Gravitational Force Lab. So first thing is to watch this video. This is going to be your introduction to gravitational force, and write down 3 things that you learn from that video. One thing I absolutely need you guys to write down is the equation that is given to you. It will have force in it, and it will also have a new gravitational constant. It will be a capital G. Make sure to write down the value of that constant as well as the units. All right, then part 2, we are going to test out this equation with some visuals. So go to the PhET simulation link, and questions 2, 3, and 4 are really just about your observations when you're playing around with the simulation. This is what the simulation will look like when you open it. So just for that first couple problems, move some things around and see how they change different things. All right, then moving on to part 3. So in part 3, you will be really testing out that equation that you wrote down, but you won't be doing the actual calculations. The simulation will do all of the calculations for you. And I'm going to walk through how to set up this first one here. So mass of the first person, which was the person on the left, we're going to set to 10. Position 0, the person on the right will have a mass of 10 and a position of 10. So what that looks like, 10, 10, and to get M1 all the way to 0 meters, pull that little figure until you can't pull him any further. When you putting the M2 at 10, same thing, pull him until you can't pull him any further. Now we have M1 at 0 and M2 at 10. And we can see that the force acting upon each of these is actually the same. So 72 newtons. We'll go back to our table and fill in 72 newtons. All right. So continue down the table and make changes accordingly. You shouldn't need to reset the simulation each time because the second one in the table is very similar to, like the next one down is very similar to the previous one. Okay, so only one change needed for line 2. When you get to this bottom part, you get to choose what values you plug in. So whatever you fancy, go for it. For the very last one, I want you guys to try to get these force values for F1 and F2. If you can't get it exactly, that's okay. Don't spend like hours upon hours on it, but try to get as close to those values as possible and see what each of these other values are. And last but not least, part 4 is, we have 2 part 4s, part 4A and B. You guys are going to reflect on what you saw with 7 and 6, and then there's a couple true or false statements that if you identify them as true, you can leave them alone. If you identify them as false, write the statement below, making it correct or making it a true statement. All right, let me know if you guys have any questions.